I feel like a lot of people are lonely, and I get that. I have been lonely all my life, kind of. Like, I'm the only daughter that grew up with a lot of cousins. And, like, growing up with my cousins, I got to enjoy, like, the socializing. My cousins were, like, my brothers and sisters. And I would see them often enough to miss it. And I would be without them often enough that it would be very dreadful. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why I always had the tendency of being very social online. Like, I was a guild leader for the first time in a game when I was 14. And most MMOs that I played, I had my own guild. Whenever, like, I always liked to add to a guild people that I just enjoyed hanging out with and playing with. And I always ended up having guilds. And I feel like the stream is nice because it's like we have our guild, but we're not tied to a game. So we can hang out, we can play Dragon Age, we can play Mass Effect, we can play Baldur's Gate, and we're like a guild that's not tied out to a game. I especially love when I see people in my guild or in my community hanging out with each other. Like, sometimes I see people in Discord, in voice chat. Sometimes I see people playing Baldur's Gate multiplayer with the people that they met in the Discord. I love seeing you guys having fun with each other. And sometimes I'm always watching. I'm just sitting there and smiling that you guys are having a healthy discussion, a cool conversation, that you guys are making friends. I always was very afraid of, you know, losing my parents and being alone in the world. And I hated that feeling of being alone. And so I always wanted to build a place where people, even it's like not a solution for everything, but if people just wanted somebody to talk, somebody to kill time, they could. And whenever I see you guys, you know, making friends and hanging out, it feels like I'm in the right track. I'm not stuck and creeping, you know? Like, sometimes, like, for example, it already happened that I've seen people, like, in Discord, and they were, like, talking to each other and having a good time, and I was like, maybe I should join, but then I was like, but if I join, I feel like I will derail the conversation, and then I don't want things to be about me. I want things to be about us. Does it make sense? Like, I see myself as the grandmother that forces the family to be there for Christmas, you know? And even though you're like, oh, I hate that, you end up going and you have a good time with your family. That's
my
what
favorite stalker. Hope
I'm not stalking you guys. Jesus Christ. You know, and I really feel like a lot of times people are looking for people who share the same interests. And they're like, the community, there's a lot of people who likes the same games, who likes the same things. Yes, we're all a little bit different. We're all from different places in the world, but there's a lot that we have in common. So it's a great place to make friends and to meet good people. But we're also on the internet, and you should never share, like, information that's dangerous for you. So just always be aware of that. I also love, you know, I really love, like, when you guys have a question and somebody else helps you with that question and they're right. You know what I really hate? When somebody answers somebody else's question and they're wrong. Oh, that boils my blood. Because people are very good at being confidently wrong on the internet. But then I usually call those people out. Whenever I see the right ones, I'm like, aren't they so perfect together? And you know, we often have been confidently wrong on the internet. It's like the place to be. Don't be afraid of being wrong. We're all wrong. We're mostly wrong all the fucking time. And that's okay. Because part of being better and being right is at some point being wrong. So it's the process. There is no shame in being wrong. Like, I'm wrong all the time. Sometimes I see conversations in chat out of context, And I feel like something is happening when it's not. And I overreact, or I am mean without necessary. And you guys see that whenever I realize this, I always make sure to come down to my senses and realize, like, a lot of times it happened in my life that some people wronged me and they knew they wronged me and they didn't say anything about it. They just tried to act like nothing happened. And I hate that. I hate when people do that. So if I ever do something wrong, don't be afraid to call me out. And even if I slap you back at the moment, because sometimes when we're angry, you know, it just happens. Hopefully when I calm my tits, I will try to make things right. And hopefully over time I'll be wrong less often. I do believe in second chances. So even if I call you out and if I'm mad at you, that doesn't mean I hate you forever. Yeah, dumb shit. Being dumb is part of being human.